Gregory calling in from Texas. Gregory Peccary. Ooh, I like it. Gregory Peccary from Texas. You are live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Hello, Richard. Hello, Dan. It's a Frank Zappa reference. You're too young to know about that.
I know who Frank Zappa is.
I
Okay.
wanted to tell you.
Come on. I'm cultured.
Do you know Gregory Peccary?
No, I don't. I'll be honest with you.
You know Gregory Peccary? It's one of his albums.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Frank Zappa exists.
Happy?
Okay. That's about as much as you'll get out of me. All right. But anyway,
It is National Beach Day. It is also National Tasted Marshmallow Day. But
Tasted?
sadly, it is also National Grief Awareness Day.
Oh. So you can be sad about your marshmallows.
I don't know.
Yeah, I love that stuff. It's always just some organization somewhere that just says, "Hey, we're going to make this a day." We should do that at the ACA. We should have a fun day that we just say is a thing, and then maybe people will put it on their corporate calendars. I don't know. But anyway, Gregory Peccary, what do you got for us today?
I see every day on comments, tax the church.
Yep.
What a stupid thing to say. Are you kidding me?
Hot take.
All of theism would unite. It's like let's put a colony on Venus. It's like so unrealistic. Don't tax the church, tax a church. That's violating the Johnson Amendment.
I mean, there are churches in other countries that are taxed, though. You know, like it's not like it's completely unprecedented. Well, it's not like it's never been done before.
We're really not talking about other countries right now, are we?
Well, I'm just saying. Well, hold on, no, because like we advocate for all kinds of stuff that this country needs to have. Okay, I'm down for taxing churches. You kidding me? I'm 100% for it. I don't think the Johnson Amendment is doing.
Amish? Do you Gregory, want to tax the Amish, the Salvation Army, the Native American church? You want to tax all churches in the U.S.? Really?
Hell yeah, let's do it. Because listen. I grew up in Waco, Texas, Gregory, and I know my experience is not exclusive. They're breaking the Johnson Amendment every damn week in this country. There's not enough resources for us to do, tax citations and tax fines on every single church that breaks the rules. I don't think that happens. I would rather have a national registry, and I get it. It's a pipe dream. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying we all see the revenue that comes in. And yeah, granted that this is also keeping in mind that many churches are very small and don't have like gigantic sources of revenue or are located in their communities. Okay. I totally get that too. It's more just it's more just a thing you say because you kind of agree with it in spirit, but I don't know how many people are seriously here's an organized system that we're going to make to put people on like a registry in the US to tax churches. It's very rare that I've actually met a person that's that serious about it, but I don't know, Gregory. I don't know.
Well, it just shows up so often in comments.
Yeah.
Tax the church, tax the church,
yeah.
Tax the church, and I think that's wrong thinking. We don't need to tax the church. We need to tax a church. That's violating. But the IRS is famously reluctant for going after those sons of bitches.
Yeah, 100%.
It's only happened a couple of times in U.S. history, in modern history. So don't tax the church. Just enforce the rules we have in place now. That's all I have to say.
Well, but that's what I'm saying though, right? Like that's the thing. Like it's only happened a couple times. Like it's not working, right? Like the system isn't working, right? We're people are violating it all. We get our panties in a wad here at the ACA. We get even close to like endorsing candidates or stuff like that. Like we take that stuff very seriously because we actually care about the law and stuff, right? Like churches are not. They're getting away with it all the time. I don't know if the whole, we just need to, give them a fine if it gets too bad. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. But I don't know, Richard, you should chime in. What do you think?
That would be complicated. And I am kind of a student of church-state relationships. I'm a religion major, and I studied under one of the authorities on church-state relationships. So here's what might happen: a church speaks out for a specific candidate or a specific party. They're put on warning. They do it twice, they're put on another warning. They do it a third time, they lose their tax-exempt status for a year. If they repair themselves, then they are able to regain their tax-exempt status. And if they do it again, they're cut off forever. What do you think about that?
I think we already have so many businesses in this country that the IRS are trying to snuff out for white collar crime and stuff, that you get churches in there. I just don't see it happening. First of all, there's not enough narcs. Okay, there's not enough narcs for every church that's violating the law. I listen. If you're not, no local Christian that I know is going to be like, hey, my pastor's violating the Johnson Amendment. I need to send it. I'm sorry, it's the right thing to do. I got to report him to the IRS. It's not going to happen. It's like
they broadcast it on the internet.
The big ones, Gregory, but not every single church is trying to think of Olstein or whatever, right? Like most churches are just small communities made up of a couple hundred people at best, right?
Yes, but those aren't the ones doing the harm, are they?
Well, why not? If they're violating the Johnson Amendment, aren't they not breaking the rules just like the big churches?
Shouldn't we go after the big ones before we go after the minnows?
Yeah, sure, but like I'm just saying, the law is the law, right? Like if you're just going after the big guys, it doesn't mean that like you have to be consistent with these things, right? Like what's the cutoff? Oh, if there are 1,000 or more people, we got to get them, we got to report them. Like I don't know.
It ain't happening. At any rate, it ain't happening.
No, it's not.
It needs to be
it's not going to happen.
And how do we make that? How do we make that happen? I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
I simply don't know.
I don't know either. We run call-in shows. We run call-in shows until people change their mind. That's the solution. I don't. But I want to give Richard a chance to speak here. Richard, what do you think?
I'm not qualified to speak on this. I'm not in the same country as you are. I think, as far as I understand it, and my understanding may be flawed on this, one of the issues is around kind of filing, reports and stuff for your non-profit status and things, which a lot of churches aren't doing, and which they should be doing, and they're not doing. And I think Gregory's got a point in that, they're not being chased down. They're not being, it is too much effort for the IRS to do to go after every tiny little thing. Is that right? No, it's not right. In an ideal world, the people who aren't doing what they should be doing, should be made accountable for that. But we don't live in an ideal world. And I think just to throw the, tax the churches thing out there as a blanket statement is, we've got to be careful, because that would mean all non-profits get taxed as well. And,
True.
There are lots of non-profits out there, tiny non-profits who do the world of good for people in so many different areas, who, if they started getting taxed, would just simply have to stop doing what they're doing and stop helping people. And I think you've got to look at the overall picture. It's very attractive to shout tax the churches, from the rooftops. And I think if we could just take those churches, organizations, whether churches or not, any non-profit organization which isn't doing what they're doing that they should be doing to keep the non-profit status, then in an ideal world, we should be punishing them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just, and it's sad too, because you see, like, obviously, like, Church of Scientology, right? Like the Mormon Church, okay, like a lot of them are like, they're big players. Like they're definitely taking advantage of that tax exempt status. So yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, report them, do whatever, but we're never gonna get to a point in this country where we're gonna say, okay, everybody, submit your church to the government, and we're gonna make sure you got to file paperwork every year. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Are you kidding me? No way. Not in America. Maybe in I don't know where Richard's at. I don't know. Maybe you could get together and form some sort of Magna Carta.
Well, Richard just made my point.
Yeah.
Richard just made my point so much more eloquently than I could. We have to pick and choose. If somebody's politicizing from the pulpit, they need to be cut off. If other churches are feeding the hungry and clothing the poor, we don't need to tax them. Okay, guys, thanks for your time. And Richard, thank you. You were the guy who supported me when I came online and said I was an atheist who joined a church, and I got a lot of shit for that. So thank you for your support.
No problem.
Gregory Peggery, thanks for calling in to the show. Appreciate it, and hope to hear from you again. And have a great rest of your weekend. Hot takes.
That was great. I thought it was going to be fisticuffs for a little while there between you and Gregory.
I know. No, I think we feel the same way. It's like, but again, reminding people the reality is that, yeah, okay, you got the Olsteins of the world, you got the Kenneth Copelands of the world. Okay, yeah, but it's just not most churches. Most churches aren't mega churches, right? They're usually smaller, and they're usually supporting a very small staff, probably similar to the size that we are at the atheist community of Austin, I imagine. I don't know the exact stats off the top of my head, but I do know that most of them are not mega churches. And so yeah, it's kind of hard, because what do? You go to tax grandma's church, it doesn't look good. It wouldn't run well. There's no candidate on earth. You could have the most atheist candidate you've ever seen, and that they wouldn't even try to do that.